Before you close your eyes tonight, stay with me for just a moment, because what you are feeling right now may be far deeper than simple tiredness. Sometimes the most dangerous battles do not happen in the daylight. They wait for the night. They wait for the room to grow silent. They wait for the world to stop moving. And then, without warning, the thoughts begin, the conversation you cannot stop replaying, the fear about what tomorrow may bring, the pressure you carried all day behind a smile, the heaviness no one else ever noticed. It is strange, isn't it? How a room can be so quiet and yet the mind can feel louder than ever. How the body can be exhausted, but the heart still refuses to rest. How the darkness outside seems to awaken the darkness within. If that is where you are tonight, I want you to know that I understand this moment deeply, because I have lived in this sacred silence too. There is something about the night that reveals what the day hides. During the day, we keep moving, we answer messages, we meet responsibilities, we stay strong, we tell ourselves we are fine. But when night comes, the soul finally begins to speak. And sometimes what it says is painful. Sometimes it whispers fear. Sometimes it echoes regret. Sometimes it magnifies uncertainty. This is until it feels impossible to breathe. But tonight, something different is going to happen. Tonight, we are not going to let fear have the final word. Tonight, before sleep takes you, we are going to bring every restless thought, every silent burden, and every hidden ache into the presence of God. Welcome to Night Prayers with God. If you are here tonight searching for peace, comfort, and a place where your heart can finally breathe, you are exactly where you need to be. Before we go any further, please take a moment to subscribe and support this channel so we can continue creating more prayers and messages that bring hope, healing, and rest to hearts like yours. Because what begins in this quiet moment tonight may change the way you sleep, the way you heal, and the way you wake up tomorrow. Stay with me. Do not leave yet. Because what God is about to do in your heart tonight may be exactly what your soul has been longing for. And as we remain together in this quiet moment, let us gently move deeper, not only into the silence of the night, but into what this silence is trying to reveal within us. There is something deeply honest about the evening. The night does not distract us the way the day does. During the day, life gives us motion. Tasks keep us occupied, conversations fill the mind, responsibilities demand our attention. We keep going, sometimes without ever stopping long enough to ask ourselves how we are really doing. But when night arrives, everything changes. The pace slows, the noise fades, and what remains is often the truth of the heart. This is why nighttime can feel strangely sacred and at the same time emotionally vulnerable. It is often the hour when hidden worries begin to rise to the surface. A concern that seems small at noon suddenly feels heavier. At midnight, a thought about tomorrow becomes a fear, a memory becomes regret, a responsibility becomes pressure. I have often felt that the night has a way of uncovering what the soul has been carrying in silence. And yet, I have also come to believe that this is exactly why nighttime can become one of the most beautiful moments to meet God. Because when the world becomes still, his voice becomes easier to hear. Not loud, not overwhelming, but gentle, like a whisper to the heart, like peace, quietly entering a room. This is why I love these sacred nighttime moments, because this is where surrender begins. This is where the soul finally stops us performing. This is where we no longer need to appear strong. This is where we can simply be honest before God. Book of Psalms has always spoken deeply to me at night. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. There is something profoundly healing in that image. Still waters, not rushing waters, not stormy waters. Still waters, that is what the heart longs for before sleep. Stillness, restoration, gentleness. And Book of Psalms reminds us that the one who dwells in the shelter of the Most High shall rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Tonight, I want us to enter that shadow, that place of quiet safety, that sacred place where fear no longer has the loudest voice. So before we begin to pray, take a slow breath with me. Let the room grow softer around you. Let your shoulders relax. Let the thoughts that have been racing begin to slow. You do not need to solve anything in this moment. You do not need to carry tomorrow into tonight. You only need to bring your heart honestly before God. And now, as this sacred silence deepens, let us begin to speak. To the one who already knows every hidden burden within us, Heavenly Father, as this day gently comes to its close, I come before you with everything I have carried in silence, the things I understand, the things I do not, the fears I can name, and the heaviness I still cannot explain. Tonight, Lord, I bring it all to you. And now that we have gently opened our hearts before God, let us move into the deeper place where true rest begins, the sacred act of surrender. There are things in my heart tonight that I've carried longer than I should have. Some of them began this morning. Some of them have followed me for weeks. And some, if I am honest, have quietly lived inside me for far too long. Tonight, I do not want to carry them any further. I come before you, not as someone who has everything together, but as someone who is tired of carrying what was never meant to be carried alone. Lord, there is a kind of exhaustion that sleep alone cannot heal. It is the exhaustion of the mind, the exhaustion of the heart, the exhaustion that comes from replaying moments over and over again, the conversations I wish had gone differently, the words I cannot take back, the things left unsaid, the responsibilities that still feel unfinished, the pressure of tomorrow already knocking on tonight's door. Father, this is what I bring to you now. I bring you the noise inside my mind, the thoughts that refuse to slow down, the questions without answers, the quiet fear of what may happen next, the weight of expectations, the invisible burden of always trying to be strong. Tonight, Lord, I surrender all of it, all of it. This is Brian. I surrender the need to control outcomes. I surrender the fear of what I cannot predict. I surrender the pressure of trying to hold everything together. I surrender the version of myself that believes peace comes from having every answer. Because deep down, I know peace does not come from certainty. Peace comes from trust. And tonight, I choose trust. Entity, Bepis Epistle to the Philippians, to my heart in moments like this. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. That verse does not deny that the burden is real. It simply invites us to stop carrying it alone. So, Father, I present every hidden burden to you tonight, the things I can explain, and the things I cannot fully put into words, the quiet sadness I have been ignoring, the stress that has been sitting in my chest, the fear I have about tomorrow, the uncertainty about the future, the ache that comes from not knowing how things will unfold. I place it all into your hands, Lord. There are nights when my mind feels like it cannot stop moving. One thought becomes another. One fear multiplies into many. A single uncertainty becomes a storm. And before I realize it, my heart is carrying tomorrow before it has even arrived. Tonight, I lay that pattern down before you. Break the cycle of overthinking within me. Silence the habit of mentally rehearsing every possible outcome. Quiet the voice inside me that keeps asking, what if? What if things go wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose what I love? What if I am not enough? Father, Tonight I release every what if into your care, because you are already in tomorrow. You are already in the places I have not yet walked. You are already present in the conversations I have not yet had. You are already ahead of me, and that truth allows my heart to breathe, Lord. There are also emotional burdens I have carried silently, the disappointments I never truly processed, the hurts I tried to move past too quickly, the fatigue of being strong for everyone else, the loneliness that sometimes hides behind a busy life. Tonight, I surrender. Even these, I bring you the places in me that still ache, the places where fear has quietly built a home, the places where anxiety has slowly stolen peace, the places where my heart has become tired from hoping, waiting, and worrying. Father, hold those places gently tonight. There is something profoundly human about reaching the end of the day and realizing how much we have carried without noticing. Sometimes I do not even realize how tired my soul is until the night becomes quiet enough to hear it. And tonight I hear it, I feel it, and I bring it honestly before you. Lord, I surrender the pressure of everything out right now. I surrender the need to understand every reason. I surrender the frustration of unanswered questions. I surrender the pain of uncertainty. And in their place, I ask for something deeper than answers. I ask for peace, not temporary distraction, not shallow relief, but real peace. The kind that settles into the heart, the kind that reaches the mind, the kind that allows the body to finally rest, the kind that only comes from knowing that I am held by you. Entity, book of Psalms, Urden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. Tonight I cast it all, the burden of performance, the burden of fear, the burden of tomorrow, the burden of emotional heaviness, the burden of trying to be enough. I cast it into your faithful hands, Lord. I do not want to carry this into sleep. I want to enter rest with an unclenched heart. I want to lie down without fear following me. I want to sleep without tomorrow stealing tonight. So tonight I let go, not because everything is solved, but because I trust the one who holds what I cannot. Father, teach my heart the sacred freedom of release. Teach me that surrender is not weakness, it is trust. Teach me that rest is not neglect, it is faith. Teach me that I do not have to stay mentally awake to keep life from falling apart. You are awake, you are present, you are faithful. And because of that, I can let go tonight. I release the day into your hands. I release tomorrow into your care. I release every fear beneath my thoughts and every tension within my spirit. As the weight begins to lift from my heart, let your peace move even deeper into this night, not only within me, but around me, around this room, around this home, around every person I love. Let the peace that now fills my heart begin to cover the night itself, surrounding every space with your presence, your safety, and your gentle protection. And as my soul begins to rest more fully in you, let this night become a place of shelter, where fear can no longer enter and peace can finally remain. And now that this night feels safely held beneath your covering, let your peace move even deeper, Lord, not only around me, but into the hidden places within me that still need healing. There are wounds within the heart that no one else can see. They do not appear on the surface. They are not always spoken aloud. Sometimes they live quietly beneath the rhythm of everyday life, a disappointment that was never fully released, a hurt that was pushed aside because life kept moving, a fear that slowly became part of the way the heart learned to survive. Tonight, in the stillness of your presence, those hidden places begin to rise gently into view. And rather than turning away from them, I bring them to you, because I have learned that nighttime is often when the soul becomes most honest. The day allows us to function. The night invites us to feel. And sometimes what we feel is deeper than we expected. A sadness we never named, a loneliness we never admitted, a weariness that is not physical but emotional. Lord, tonight I bring you that weariness. There are parts of me that have been tired for longer than sleep can explain, not body tired, heart tired, spirit tired. The kind of tiredness that comes from carrying emotions too long in silence, the kind that settles into the chest, the kind that turns into heaviness without warning, Father. Let your healing presence meet me there. Do not rush me. Do not force healing. Simply with me in this quiet moment. Be near in the tenderness of this night. Let your presence feel like warmth over the soul. Let it feel like gentle hands around a heart that has carried too much. Entity, book of Psalms of the brokenhearted, and bind up their wounds. Tonight, Lord, I hold on to that promise, because sometimes the wounds are not dramatic. Sometimes they are quiet. The accumulation of small hurts, small disappointments, small moments that slowly taught the heart to stay guarded. Tonight, I ask you to heal what life has quietly hardened. Heal the places where fear has taught me to withdraw. Heal the places where disappointment has made me cautious. Heal the places where exhaustion has slowly dimmed my hope, Lord. There are emotions I have carried that I do not even fully understand, moments that still ache when I think about them, conversations that left something unsettled inside me, situations that changed me more than I realized. Tonight, I bring those to you as well, because you understand what I cannot yet explain. You see what I am still learning to name. You know the places inside me where healing is still needed. Father, I ask that while I rest tonight, you begin restoring what has been worn down. Restore the tenderness of my heart. Restore the steadiness of my mind. Restore the hope that stress has tried to steal. Restore the joy that fear has slowly dimmed. Entity, book of Psalms, restore our souls. And tonight, Lord, I realize how much my soul needs restoration, not noise, not distraction, not temporary relief, but deep restoration, the kind that reaches beneath the surface, the kind that changes how the heart feels when morning comes. Lord, heal the emotional fatigue that has followed me into this night. Heal the pressure that has sat on my chest. Heal the ache of trying to be strong for too long. Heal the parts of me that have been quietly carrying pain behind a composed face. There is something so human about becoming used, that to our own heaviness. Sometimes we carry it so long that it begins to feel normal. But tonight, in this sacred silence, I realize that some of what I have been calling normal is actually weariness. And I no longer want to carry it alone. Father, let your healing be gentle, not abrupt, not overwhelming, but slow and merciful, like peace, settling over still waters, like the first calm breath after a long day of pressure, like the feeling of finally being able to exhale. Tonight, I ask you to heal the mind from hidden stress, heal the heart from quiet grief, heal the soul from long-held tension. Let this bed become more than a place of sleep. Let it become a place of restoration, a place where the heart no longer needs to brace itself, a place where the soul feels safe enough to soften, a place where tomorrow no longer feels threatening. Lord, if there are places in me still holding on to fear, gently loosen them. If there are places still holding on to pain, comfort them. If there are places still resisting rest, lovingly quiet them. Because tonight, I do not only want to sleep, I want to heal. I want to wake lighter than I was today. I want to wake with more peace than I carried into this night. I want to wake with the quiet awareness that while I slept, your grace was still working. So remain with me here, Lord, in the silence, in the softness, in the hidden places of the heart, and let this night become the beginning of something deeper than rest, the beginning of restoration. And now that this night is resting safely beneath your peace and protection, let your presence move even deeper, not around me this time, but through me into the quiet places of the heart that only you truly know. There are nights when the body is tired, and then there are nights when the soul is tired. Tonight, I feel the difference. This is not only the weariness of a long day, this is the kind of exhaustion that settles beneath the surface, the kind carried in the mind after too many thoughts, the kind carried in the heart after too many silent emotions, the kind that no one else sees because it lives behind ordinary moments, behind responsibilities, behind the face. I show the world, but you see it. You always do. You see the places within me that have been stretched thin, the parts of me that kept going when I wanted to stop, the parts of me that smiled when I was hurting, the parts of me that stayed strong because life demanded it. And tonight, Lord, I bring all of that weariness into your presence because there is something deeply sacred about this hour. The world is finally quiet enough for the heart to tell the truth. And the truth is, some parts of me need healing, not just comfort, healing. There are places inside the heart that have quietly collected pain, disappointments that I moved past too quickly, words that stayed with me longer than I expected, moments that left something unsettled deep within, fears that slowly became part of how I move through life. Tonight, Father, I do not want to ignore those places. I want to bring them honestly before you, because I have learned that what is left unhealed often becomes what quietly steals peace. So tonight, Lord, touch the places in me that still ache, the places where stress has lived too long, the places where fear has made a home, the places where exhaustion has slowly hardened tenderness. Let your presence reach what my own words cannot fully describe. Entity, book of Psalms, the brokenhearted, and bind up their wounds. There is something so gentle and personal about that promise. You do not overlook wounds simply because they are invisible. You do not dismiss pain simply because it is silent. You come close to it, you tend to it, you remain with it. And tonight, Lord, that is what I need. Not noise, not quick answers, not forced strength. I need your nearness. I need the quiet healing that only comes when the soul feels safe enough to soften, Father. There are emotions I have carried without realizing how heavy they had become. The sadness I brushed aside, the disappointment I minimized, the grief I told myself was small, the fear I tried to manage alone. Tonight, I no longer want to carry them in silence. I lay them before you. Heal the sadness that still lingers beneath the surface. Heal the fear that still visits the mind when the room grows quiet. Heal the loneliness that sometimes appears even in the middle of a full life. Heal the emotional fatigue that sleep alone cannot remove. Entity, book of Psalms, restore my soul. And tonight, Lord, that is what I long for, soul restoration, the kind that reaches beyond thoughts and touches identity, the kind that restores joy, the kind that rebuilds inner peace, the kind that allows the heart to wake tomorrow lighter than it was today. Father, while I sleep tonight, let healing continue. Let this night become more than physical rest. Let it become holy restoration. Life, restore the mind from overthinking, restore the heart from hidden pain, restore the spirit from quiet weariness, restore the body from accumulated tension. There are places in me that have been bracing for too long, bracing for disappointment, bracing for pressure, bracing for tomorrow. Tonight, gently teach those places to rest. Let every muscle soften, let every breath slow, let every guarded part of the heart begin to trust again. Bless you, Lord. Heal the pressure that has sat on my chest. Heal the fear that has followed me into the night. Heal the silent wounds I have never fully spoken. Heal what life has slowly worn down, and do it with gentleness, like still waters, like a soft whisper in the dark, like the warmth of being held by a love that asks nothing except honesty. Father, I want this night to change something within me, not dramatically, but deeply. I want to wake tomorrow with more peace than I have tonight, more steadiness, more softness, more trust. Let your grace continue working in the places I cannot yet see, because some healing happens in stillness, some healing happens in surrender, and some healing happens while we sleep beneath your loving presence. So remain here with me, Lord, in the silence of this room, in the quietness of my breathing, in the hidden chambers of the heart. And let this night become the place where healing begins to bloom again, softly, deeply, and beautifully under the mercy of your presence. And as your healing continues to move quietly through the hidden places of the heart, Lord, let this night now come to rest in the gentle assurance that tomorrow is already held in your hands. Heavenly Father, there is something deeply beautiful about this final moment before sleep fully takes over. It is the moment when the mind no longer needs to keep searching, the heart no longer needs to keep holding on, the soul no longer needs to keep carrying. Tonight, after everything we have laid before you, I feel a softness settling over this moment, not because every question has been answered, not because every circumstance has changed, but because something deeper has happened. My heart has remembered where peace is found. It is found here with you, in this stillness, in this surrender, in this quiet trust that the God who has carried me through today will also go before me into tomorrow. Father, I place the hours ahead into your care. Every unseen moment of this night, every breath I will take while sleeping, every dream, every thought that may come and go in the silence, hold all of it in your mercy. Let this night remain gentle. Let my sleep be deep and uninterrupted. Let my body rest without tension. Let my mind remain quiet. Let my heart stay light. And as morning slowly approaches in its own time, I place tomorrow fully into your hands. The conversations I have not yet had, the responsibilities waiting for me, the moments that may challenge me, the things I still do not know. I no longer want to fear them. I want to entrust them to you because I have learned that tomorrow does not arrive empty. It arrives with your grace. Book of Lamentations reminds us that your mercies are new every morning. There is something profoundly comforting in that promise tonight. Tomorrow is not something I need to carry right now. Tomorrow will come with fresh mercy, fresh strength, fresh wisdom, fresh peace. So tonight I release, even tomorrow. I do not bring it into bed with me. I do not let it sit beside my thoughts. I do not let it disturb this sacred rest. Instead, I place it into the hands of the one who is already there. Father, when morning comes, let me wake with a lighter heart. Let me rise with gratitude. Let me rise with calmness. Let me rise with the quiet awareness that through the night you were near, that while I slept, your grace continued its work, that while I rested, you held every unseen thing. Lord, thank you for this night. Thank you for the peace that now rests over this room. Thank you for the healing that has begun within the heart. Thank you for the comfort that has softened what felt heavy. Thank you for reminding me that I do not walk through life alone. And now, Father, I let go completely. I release The day behind me I release, the night before me I release, tomorrow ahead of me, and I rest in the quiet certainty that I am safe, I am held, and I am deeply loved in your presence. So now, let sleep come gently, let peace remain deeply, and let tomorrow arrive with hope.